the first World Speedway final of the year. This is the Pairs Championship, where two riders from each of 7 countries ride against each other with normal speedway scoring. I'll come and explain that later. But first, let's... hello. Sounds like the band has been imported from Ireland, but the crowd seem to enjoy it. As these fine examples of the Polish motor industry products are used to bring in the contestants. Coming in from outside the Olympic Stadium in Poland. Those are the Czechoslovaks there. Bohumil Brel, number 13. 21, Roman Matusek. He is the reserve. Having said that this is a pairs championship, you will see there are 3 riders for each nation here. That is because the team manager can use a reserve occasionally. Here we have the Italians. Man on the front of the truck there, number 1, Armando Castagna. Sorry, Armando Castagna. He's certainly the top Italian rider in a sport where Italian riders have historically not really shone, but he's a leader as far as the Italians are concerned. But if we're talking about leaders, we should talk about the Danes, who have won the best pairs every year since 1985, when Erik Gundersen and Tommy Knudsen won, and then it was Gundersen and Nielsen for 4 years until Erik Gundersen's dreadful accident. And last year, 1990, it was Hans Nielsen and Jan O. Pedersen, the very men who will be representing Denmark here again today. And Tommy Knudsen is their reserve. Not a bad man to have back in the pit, as it were. There are the Italians. As the trucks move off. And that's the Polish Motorcycle Federation's flag on the lead truck, next to the Polish national flag. That's funny, the music's playing, but the band isn't. And as we look at this very pleasant facility, electronic scoreboard, you can see that the first few rows of the stands are empty. Don't be surprised. That's not because it's a small crowd, it's because that's where all the shale off the track gets thrown. When 4 500cc, single-cylinder, 4-valve, methanol-burning motorcycles fly around the corners in close formation. The Italians. Number 5 is Furlanetto, you saw him. Number 6 is Castagna, the man we mentioned earlier. Good support here for the Norwegians. Quite a few Scandinavian fans there are the Norwegians. Number 10, Einar Kylingstad. Number 9, on the right picture you saw Lars Gunnestad. As we look at the Czechs. Number 24 there is 14 is Tesach, if you saw him. Bo Brel, number 13. The normal photographer's scrum before the start of a big international meeting. A traditional sight, as the riders, however unwillingly, pose for the pictures you'll see in the magazines the week after. Now, this is a best pairs championship. The first heat we're going to see is Denmark versus Poland. And then it's Sweden versus Italy, Germany versus Norway, then Denmark versus Czechoslovakia. So we have the home team, the Poles, not dreadfully well fancied, a country in the doldrums as far as Speedway is concerned. Long gone are the days of Zenon Pletch, for anybody who remembers the great Pole who rode for Hackney Hawks in the British League for many years. Plenty of support for the Norwegians, though, isn't there? Lars Gunnestad, Einar Kylingstad here with the Germans. And number 11 is Gert Ries. He is the world long track champion. We're back with the Czechs. On the left there is Zenon Tesach. And the other guy there is Bo Brel. That's their reserve. Roman Matusek on the left in the blue letters, number 21 on the front of his body colour. How can you be bored and yawning when you're about to ride in a world final? Who knows? The president of the FIM, the governing body of international motorcycle sports, Jos Vassen, just being introduced to the crowd. You may have heard us talking with Mr. Vassen here on Eurosport if you watch our Grand Prix road racing. Here are the Germans. Number 12 is Klaus Lausch. Number 11, Gerd Ries, the long track champion. Their reserve, Tommy Dunker, number 20. As you can see, it's a good crowd in the Olympia Stadium here. And there's a good number of Scandinavian supporters travelled not a long distance south into Poland. We have Danes, we have Swedes, and we have Norwegians. And we have some VIPs too. The other northern European countries, Germany, Czechoslovakia in there, and of course Poland as the host nation, and Italy. So we've lost in the qualifying rounds for this championship, we've lost such perennial speedway favourites as America, England, Australia and New Zealand. A very European world final we have on our hands. There are the Swedes, and of course the Swedes do have the reigning world individual champion Per Jonsson. He's got number 7 on his body colour. Number 8, that's him squatting down. Number 8, standing up, is the other Swede, Henrik Gustafsson. And their reserve is Jimmy Nilsson. Back to the Czechs. And the Germans. Number 12 there, Klaus Lausch in the middle. The man with his back to us is Gerd Ries. And a rather nice electronic scoreboard to keep the crowd informed. Certainly the Polish authorities have put a lot of effort into staging this world final as we sweep past the Norwegians. Number 9, Lars Gunnestad. Back to the Swedes. That's Nilsson and the red leathers, the reserve. Jonsson squatting down. And for those of you who are not familiar with Speedway, and specifically with best pairs racing, or should we say world pairs racing, when we see the first heat, you'll see 2 riders from each team, and they do 4 laps, and you score 3 points for a win, 2 for a second, and 1 for a third. Fourth man home doesn't score, and cumulative scores throughout the 21 races we will see will decide the winners. If there is a tie on points after the 21 heats, then there will be a run-off for rostrum positions. The bikes themselves, 500cc 4-stroke 4-valve machines running on methanol, no gears, no brakes. Hans Nielsen, world individual champion at 86, 87 and 89. Best pairs champion 4 years on the run. And that man in the light blue there was the great Erik Gundersen, so terribly injured a couple of years ago. Now a full-time employee.
Hello, my name is Janno Pedersen.
We'll listen to Janno Pedersen.
I started when I was 13 years old. I've been riding Speedway now, so I'm 28 now. I hope we'll have a really good meeting tomorrow, and I think it'll be really exciting, and hopefully Denmark will win.
He is the partner of Hans Nielsen, the man we were just talking about. The reigning world pairs champions, Janno Pedersen and Hans Nielsen. There you see the single cylinder, the fashionable disc insert to the rear wheel. We look at the Swedish reserve, Jimmy Nilsson. Spindly looking devices.
I'm 25 years old, and I started to ride Speedway at Stockholm, Sweden. And tomorrow's meeting is going to be a hard one because Denmark is a tough, competitive country, and I think most of the other teams are very hard as well to beat, because even that everyone is saying that England and America and Australia is not in it. I mean, they went out and they're qualifying things, so it's going to be a tough one.
How do you feel on Olympia Stadium? Is it good?
The track speed is quite good today, and I hope it's going to be about the same tomorrow.
That was Per Jonsson, the individual world champion, talking on practice day for this, the World Pairs Final. It certainly looks as if the Polish army have helped set up the pit encampment, doesn't it? Here we are with the Italians. Now with number 5, Furlanetto, the second string Italian rider. Number 6, Castagna, the lead Italian rider. Aren't those motorcycles spindly looking devices?
I'm Armando Castagna, I'm 27 years old and coming from Vicenza in Italy, and I started riding Speedway in 82 and I won 5 times the national championship, and now we are in the World Pairs Final here in Poznan, and I think somebody asked me what I think about tomorrow, and I think it will be a very hard meeting because we have the best players in the world riding here tomorrow, and I know we don't have many chances but to win the meeting, but we have some chances to do some good rides at it, so we try and we go for it. And I think that Poznan is a good stadium. We have a practice today and the track is good, and I think we have to see tomorrow, you know. We will see.
Thank you, Armando. A man who is capable of bringing surprises. Italy, not a traditional speedway nation, as we said, but Armando Castagna, an outstanding competitor. Yeah, look, Polish army tents appear to have been brought in to help out the competitors. Luxurious, this, by the standards of most speedway pits. We're with the Norwegian pit.
And I think it's going to be a very good meeting tomorrow. I think like Norway has a really good chance of getting on the rostrum, as we came second in Czechoslovakia with a good day for me and Lars, you know, and hopefully Tori too, you know. We can pull off a really good meeting, and maybe we should be on the rostrum, I think.
What do you think about track?
Track is a little bit slick, but hopefully it was in good condition today, but I hope it's a little bit more dirt on it tomorrow. It looks good.
That was Einar Kylingstad, the second string Norwegian rider. We look at the Eastern European Challenge. Roman Matusek, a man who's been around for a while. Czechoslovakian motorcycle as well.
I'm very happy to come back to Poland. I've had very good memories from my career, and I'm really looking forward to the World Pairs Final. I think it's going to be a fantastic meeting. Everything is well prepared. The track, the whole organization is 100%. I'm really looking forward to it.
Eurosport.
And that man you heard just before the break was, of course, Erik Gundersen, the multiple world champion in solo and in pairs racing and in team racing, of course, from Denmark, looking, it has to be said, pretty well, considering that appalling accident he had a couple of years ago. And Erik is now a full-time employee of the Danish Motorcycle Federation, where he coaches and looks after the interests of young speedway riders, as well as keeping an eye, as he says, on the big boys at events like this. It's great to see him here. And the two men lining up for the first heat, Hans Nielsen lining up in red on the inside, Jan O. Pedersen in blue. Note the helmet colours, folks, if you're not a speedway fan. Red and blue are the first team, if you like, the inside team. And on the outside, in white, Dormasiewicz of Poland, and in yellow and black, Zawowski of Poland. Now, the Danes have dominated speedway in recent years. They've certainly dominated pairs racing since 1985. Aerial advertising, no less. Who'd have thought it? So, you want to watch for number 1, Hans Nielsen, and number 2, Jan O. Pedersen in the red and blue helmet colours. They will be looking to get off to a good start. They should beat the home boys. And into the first corner, the Danes are side by side. Yep, in blue, Pedersen just takes a look over his left shoulder, checks where Nielsen is, and they're going to team ride. Now this is shaping up to be an exhibition of how to ride team Speedway. These two Danes at the front aren't racing one another. One's riding an outside line, one's riding an inside line, and in white, in third place, Ryszard Domisiewicz is really given no space at all in which to operate, assuming he could get on terms anyway. Lovely shot there of the team riding Danes. You have to trust your teammates so much. And these two guys won't care who's first to the checkered flag and who's second, as long as Denmark get 5 points, 3 for the first place, 2 for the second place, to start off their World Pairs campaign. That's the way to do it. Leg trailing on the outside, feet up on the inside, checking where each other is, and it's 5-1 to the Danes. The home team, the Polish boys, getting seen off on the first corner, quite honestly, there. So you'll hear me referring to the scores as we go through. We start off with a 5-1 for Denmark over Poland. The second heat contains, there's that lovely shot. Hans Nielsen on the inside, Jan O. Pedersen on the outside. Pedersen goes in slightly wider, leg trailing. Very stylish rider. 5-1 to Denmark. And I think they're pretty pleased with themselves, and so they should be. That was copybook stuff, really. That is how every team in this competition would like to be able to ride. The crowd, with a few Danish flags in there, seem pretty pleased, so I shouldn't think the home supporters are dreadfully impressed by that. Now, the second heat is Sweden versus Italy. And in red we have Furlanetto, and in blue, Armando Castagna. They are in the inside and the third spots on the grid. There is Castagna in blue coming up to the tapes. In white, we have Per Jonsson, the world champion, and in yellow and black on the outside, Henrik Gustafsson. Now, the Swedes are probably the favourites to challenge the Danes in this final. Italy, one of the weaker nations, although Castagna can be an individual star, but he's unlikely to get the backup from his teammate, it has to be said. Castagna is indulging in a little bit of gamesmanship at the tapes here. And in white, that looks like Jonsson at the front, is it? No, it's certainly the Swedes. It's Gustafsson and Jonsson at the front, I beg your pardon. In yellow and black, Henrik Gustafsson. In white, Per Jonsson. And they're going to try and show that Swedes can do what Danes can do, aren't they? A bit of team riding here, with the occasional glance over the shoulder in the direction of Armando Castagna. In fact, it's the other Italian rider, Furlanetto in red, who is in third place. Castagna's at the back. Well. So it looks as if the much-fancied Swedes are going to start off with a 5-1 to keep them on level pegging with the Danes, and it has to be said that is entirely expected. If Denmark had lost 1 point to the Poles, it would have been a major surprise, similarly as the Swedes do indeed rack up their 5-1. It would have been just as big a surprise if the Swedes had dropped anything to the Italians.
Wygrał, proszę Państwa, Henryka Gustafsson, 3 punkty. Drugie miejsce Per Jonsson, 1 punkt.
Yes, well contented with their job. The Swedish pair head back to the pits as we await heat 3. There's the Swedish guys. Their reserve, Jimmy Nilsson, greets them as the crowd await heat 3. Germany versus Norway. Now we'll see whether Einar Killingstad's hope, prediction that Norway are good for a rostrum place, by which, let's face it, he probably means 3rd place, are going to be lived up to as the tractors get out to grade the track. This is normal in Speedway. The dressing of the track, the shale or whatever is used, obviously gets flung to the outside of the track, flung off the racing line by the